Hi, and welcome to the inaugural episode of Blitz the House. I'm your host, Michael McCormick, joined by the venerable Mr. David Nelson. Dave, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Excellent. And we are also joined by the older, if not wiser, Mr. Brian McCormick. Bri, what's up?
Hey, how are ya? How's
All
it
right.
going?
Ready to get into it today?
Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah. Starting this all gambling, all NFL podcast, where we will take you on our journey, the ups and downs of betting on the NFL in the 2015 season. We hope you follow along. We can be found at Blitz the House on Twitter and at blitzthehouse.wordpress.com. Today we decided to start with the AFC East preview. So we'll be talking win totals over under. And let's get right into it, guys. So let's start in reverse order with the team that finished last year in the AFC East, the New York Jets. So Brian, I'll throw you first. What do you think about how the Jets different from last year? What do you think about the Jets in 2015?
Yeah, so Todd Bowles. Okay. It's sort of an interesting hire for a few reasons. I mean, the biggest thing holding up the Jets these past few seasons, and really, like 5 or 6 seasons, has been in the quarterback position. Their defense has always been solid. Obviously, Rex Ryan was running that train. Now he's gone. Todd Bowles has proven himself, I think, in as defensive coach, but we'll just see where he can go from there. I think the defense obviously got better. I just think that Geno Smith, we don't know. We haven't really seen him improve too much or really take a step that they need to really be a competitive team. They only won 4 games last year. I think they might get a little bit better. I think the defense, they get better, and I think the schedule just got easier. So I give them 6 wins.
Okay, 6 wins for the Jets. So they're going from one defensive mind coach to another.
Yeah, and it's just it's a void that's still there. They didn't address it, and I guess it remains to be seen. But Geno Smith is still a limiting factor here.
Yeah, well, we all know that if you have a developing quarterback, the best thing to do is hire a defensive-minded coach. That
exactly.
Generally
just
works out. So
bring in another one.
Yeah, but they did bring in some other guys. Dave, they have brought in Darrelle Revis and Brandon Marshall, 2 pretty big offseason signings. How do you see it going for the Jets this year, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, I actually like a lot of what the Jets did this offseason. I think they did a lot of good things. They add Brandon Marshall. Obviously, that's going to help their passing game. They add Ryan Fitzpatrick, who could easily end up being the starting quarterback for them. I think he's Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's not going to blow you away, but I think he's a significant improvement over Geno Smith and what the Jets have had in the past. I think he can manage the game, and now he has some weapons. Eric Decker quietly actually had a pretty good year last year. He was hurt a little bit, but he still ended up with 74 catches on nearly 1,000 yards. So I think they have some things to work with on offense. And, I mean, defensively, the Revis signing is going to be huge. It's 4 years where Revis was there with Rex Ryan. The Jets were in the top 10 in defensive DVOA all 4 years. And I think they just have so many pieces defensively, that defensive line with Wilkerson and Sheldon Richardson and Copels, and now they draft Leonard Williams, who I think was a really good pick that they got at number 6 overall. I think the defense is going to be really good. They had Cromartie as well at corner. He's getting up there in age a little bit, but I think that's a big signing for them as well. And Todd Bowles was arguably the best coach in the league last year. That did a great job with Cardinals defense. So I think they're going to be significantly better. I'm gonna say they're going to win 8 games this year. I think they're a 500 team.
Okay, so yeah, definitely a step forward on defense. Do you have Ryan Fitzpatrick starting 16 games this year for the Jets, Dave?
It's unlikely he's going to start 16 games just because, I think the Jets still want to see what they can get out of Geno Smith. I don't think they're totally off the Geno Smith bandwagon just yet. They're going to want to give him some reps. And I mean, Fitzpatrick is inevitably going to struggle at some point during the year, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Fitzpatrick ends up getting the majority of the reps this season for them.
Yeah.
So I gotta be honest. Yeah, I mentioned Geno Smith only because I really do not see the Fitzpatrick thing working out. I think the most interesting thing here is the Brandon Marshall thing. And you have an experienced quarterback like Fitzpatrick. If he can get to him and if they can come up with something there, then you might have something. I think Fitzpatrick just has proven time and time again that he sucks and he cannot lead a successful team. So I think it's smart. I mean, they're going to lead out with Fitzpatrick, but I don't think that lasts. And I think you're going to end up with, what do we have in Geno Smith? And ultimately, I just don't think that's going to be enough. I don't see Fitzpatrick thing working out at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think, I mean, what he was able to do even last year with the Texans with a great defense. I don't know if the Jets will be quite as good as the Texans were last year, but they have more weapons, I think, when you have Marshall and Decker. And we saw like what a guy like Josh McCown can do when you have two big receivers on the outside, what he did with the Bears a couple of years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So, Brian, what did you have for win totals there for the Jets?
So I had them at 6.
And Dave?
I don't think they get much better, really.
Yeah, I'm gonna give them 8, but I could see them going up as high as 9 too. But I'll stick with 8.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So I have them at, I think, with quarterback questions. And Revis played under Rex Ryan and Bill Belichick, and then a year between in Tampa Bay, and didn't seem to save. Yeah, he was coming off injury, but I think it remains to be seen how Revis, as a tool will be used, outside of the schemes that Rex Ryan and Bill Belichick had. I have them at 6 wins. And so Vegas has the Jets at 7.5 wins this year.
Wow.
The over is -150. So that gives a +120 on the under 7.5. So obviously Vegas sees the Jets taking a giant leap forward.
So they're more on my side than you guys.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, last year, even if you did like a simple, using the simple rating system, they were supposed to get like 6 wins or whatever just by point differential. So obviously the 4 wins was, below how they played, but, it would be a big turnaround to get to 8-8.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, they're one of the worst teams in the league. They had a minus 118 point differential, so pretty bad. But I think they've done a lot of good things this offseason.
Yep. So I definitely am throwing money at the +120 and under 7.5. But
yeah, no question about it for me. That's easy.
We'll see.
The division's too competitive.
Maybe we can just bet with Dave so that we can avoid the vig.
Avoid the vig.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would take the over, but -150, that's probably a non-bet for me. But.
Okay, so let's second to last finish in the AFC East last year was the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah,
Dave, how do you think they've changed? What do you think about the Dolphins 2015s?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Dolphins did some good things. Obviously, when you add a guy like Sue on defense, it's gonna help. They did give him a lot of money, though. It could hamper some other things that it's gonna keep them from being able to do other things. I think offensively, I'm not sure if they got better offensively. It's gonna depend a lot on how Devontae Parker plays, the first round pick they got coming in. But I still think the offensive line is a concern. That Ryan Tannehill got sacked the third highest of any quarterback in the league. So I don't know. I mean, this is a team that's kind of hovered around 500. There's been high expectations around them for a few years, and they haven't been able to finish seasons strong. They've had some good starts to years, but they haven't been able to finish. And I don't know. I mean, it's tough to argue with the suit signing. It's definitely going to help them, but the division's a lot stronger, and I just don't think that they're good enough on offense. So I think I'm going to have them still at 8 wins again this year.
Okay, 8 wins again for the Finns, says Dave. Brian, what say you?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Dolphins, I'll start off with, I think they're a little underappreciated last year. They were 8-8, and they did finish third in the division, but there were a couple games. I mean, we're splitting hairs here. They basically beat the Packers. That was just ridiculous. I mean, there's just a lot of games that could have gone either way. It seems like this team is just one step away from being one of the best teams, one of the better teams in the league, top third. I think they're there. I think they're really close. So you add a player at a premium position as a premium player, you can really shake things up. Now Tannehill's getting the ball a lot more. He's developing that much more. I think Tannehill is getting better. He's inconsistent as anybody in the league, but if he can just sort of turn that into a more week in, week out, be that starting quarterback they need to be, I think that offense will have enough. I mean, I think it's the second best offense in the division. They won 8 games last year. I think they can get to 10. I do.
Okay, so 10 wins, says Brian. Dave says 8. I agree again, Brian, with you. I have the Dolphins at 10 wins this year. I think I can't put them. I have to put them above the Jets because of the quarterback situation. And I definitely do think they'll take a step forward on defense with Sue. So I have them at 10 wins. Vegas has the Dolphins at 8.5. So -115 both ways for the Dolphins, finishing 1 game above the Jets.
Yeah, that's probably another for me a non-bet because I'd probably have them more on the high side of 8. So I think 8.5 is about right for the line.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, 10 is definitely higher than, I'm closer to 9.5 than I am to 10. But yeah, 8.5 minus 115 could still be bettable on the over there. Brian, what do you think?
It's not bad. Yeah, I'm definitely with you. I'm floating between 9 and 10, but
Okay.
I think it's a decent bet because I think I would look at some sort of alternative if they have it over under here. Because I think if this team takes off, they could win 11 games. I really do. I think if everything breaks the right way, there's a
Yeah.
lot of talent on this team.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, the big X factor for them, I think, is the 2 young receivers with Parker and Jarvis Landry, because those are 2 guys with a lot of potential. And if it comes through for them, they could be really good.
Yeah.
So 8.5 is probably right. I think it's bettable.
Okay. Well, they're 16-1 to win the conference. So maybe if you're thinking, if things go right, maybe you take the long odds, and try to hope for all of the best, all of the,
Yeah, I
dominoes
think they're a
falling.
Yeah, there
good
you go.
high upside team.
All right.
And Tannehill still has some potential to get a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if he can get some protection from that offensive line and then
Yeah,
not be sacked every other play. Second from the top in the AFC, the Buffalo Bills. Brian, they had one of the best defenses in the league last year. What do you think? How does that translate to this year?
Yeah, their defense is rock solid last year, and they got rid of Marone and they brought in another defensive guy. So Rex Ryan's, I respect him as certainly one of the best defensive minds in the NFL. That defense isn't going to take a step. I just don't. I think that they're consistent enough last year, especially, and had played their best football really at the end of the year. I think that defense is going to be fine. Probably top 10, between 5 and 10 in the league. The problem is just this limiting factor of quarterback. Again, the same thing with the Bills. Matt Castle is not the savior here. And a lot of people are going to make noise about, like, look at LaShawn McCoy. Well, the running game has always been good. They've always had Fred Jackson and C.J. Spiller doing their thing back there. And I just don't see it. I think that position's done. I don't see that position as being any kind of game changer. I don't think that changes their offense too much. So we'll see what Castle can do. The defense is going to be great. I think that they're – I don't know. They could probably repeat last year. I don't see them getting any better.
Okay. So Brian says LaShawn McCoy, not a big deal. Dave?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a big deal. I think it's definitely going to improve their running game. They were 28th in running DVOA last year, so I can't see how it wouldn't help them. I'm not sure that necessarily means it was a great move for them, giving up Kiko Alonso and giving up what they did, but I still think it's going to improve their team this year. They had Percy Harvin, so I think their offense is going to be better. Matt Castle is not great, but I don't think he's a step down from Kyle Orton. It's kind of just one and the same.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
A step to the side, we'll say.
Yeah, a step to the side. They had Charles Clay, who can sort of play at tight end. He'll help them out. But yeah, it's going to be tough for them to really do anything significant without a quarterback. But I still think they're an above 500 team. That front four is still all intact. I agree with Brian that the defense is going to still be really good. They've got a great front four and they've got 2 really good cornerbacks. So yeah, I'm going to say between 9 and 10 here, but I'll go with 9 wins for them.
Okay. And
yeah,
Brian,
I've got them at
a total.
I've got them at a solid step to the side. I get a 9.
9 and 7 for the Bills as well. So okay, I have the Bills at 8 and 8. I guess I agree with the majority of what you guys say. Definitely the running game will take a step forward. My thing is the defense, generally speaking, in the NFL, I think the numbers bear out that defenses don't translate year over year as well as offenses do. So given that they basically had very little room for improvement last year in defense, and with the 2 Williams brothers, not brothers, but the 2 Williams on the front line, they both crossed the 30 mark this year. So that's generally when the aging curve starts to get steep. So I'll say their defense takes a step back. It might not. They might prove me wrong and turn out to be just as good, but I'm going to put them at 8 and 8 with their defense taking a step back and still no solution at quarterback.
Step back with Rex Ryan.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but it's like we've touched on, tough schedule. Obviously, they have to play the AFC East now, which is vastly improved. Um, and so Vegas has them at 8.5 wins.
The NFC East?
They're playing the AFC East and the NFC East, yeah. So.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Interdivision, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, every team in our division's gotten better. Every team in the NFC East, no doubt.
Yeah, the Bills were number 1 in passing DVOA last year, 12th in running. So if they can,
I guess I just mean in years past. Yeah, I didn't look at the DVOA, so
yeah,
they weren't very efficient, obviously, but I just don't see that position as a game changer in the NFL in 2015. That's period the end.
So are we betting? Anyone want to go out on a limb? And the over is -130. The under is even. So Bills 8.5.
Yeah, I might still be willing to bet that, especially given that they are likely to get one of those Patriots games without Tom Brady in the first 4 weeks. They play them week 2 at home, so that could be a good. If they can win that game, I think they've got a real good chance to cover the 8.5. I think I would tend to bet I might be willing to bet the over there.
Okay. Speaking of the Patriots and suspensions, I guess we can get to that later. But yeah, let's just start with how the team has changed. Obviously, the secondary with losing Revis and some other key guys is definitely a lot of question marks there on defense. Dave, how do you see this Patriots team shaking out this year?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, the secondary, you would imagine, has to take a step back, right, with the losing Revis, and they get rid of Dennard and Kyle Arrington. Still questions who's going to fill in at the other safety position along with McCourty. So, I mean, the Patriots, they did have some really down years defensively when they were weak in the secondary, and that seems like maybe the direction they're headed this year. So, I mean, that does concern me. Obviously, the Brady stuff is going to hurt them. It'll be interesting to see how the team transitions from having to play with Garoppolo to Brady. It'll be interesting to see how they handle this offseason and handle training camp in the preseason with who's going to get the first team reps and how's the offense going to adjust to that. But I mean, at the end of the day, they're still the favorites. They still should win this division. Every other team has improved, but I don't think that anybody's improved enough to where the Patriots should be overly concerned about losing this division. But yeah, I think I'm somewhere between 10 and 11. I'd probably lean more towards 10 though for their wins.
Yeah, I agree with most of what you said there. It's interesting. This is probably definitively the worst defense in this division. It's on the Patriots. I think it's probably been a while since. I mean, these defenses have all been very good, but even like Miami is nasty now. We get 3 nasty defenses in this division. And it's going to come down.
I mean, the Jets defense wasn't great last year. I mean, they still have they added some players but they lost Rex Ryan, and yeah, they have Revis, but I don't know. For me, it's tough to look at a defense on paper and say that's a good defense, but we'll see. I just wanted to qualify that a little bit, maybe.
And no doubt about it, and the two go hand in hand. It's hard to isolate a defense either. The Jets were on their heels all of last year.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's that too. But I guess it comes down to the whole Brady thing. I mean, this team would struggle without Tom Brady. How many games is he going to miss? We don't know. But if you want to throw out maybe a 2-2 or a 1-3 even as a worst case scenario for, say, the suspension is 4 games, I just think this offense is still a juggernaut. No one's really close. Their defense hasn't declined enough that basically what Dave said, no one's really closed the gap here. I got him at 11 wins.
I think also, I mean, the Patriots defense may be the weakest in the division, but they definitely have the strongest group of linebackers. I think if Mayo is healthy through the whole year, that's a really great group with Collins, Mayo, and Hightower. I think that's definitely the strongest of any of the 4 teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, definitely there. But yeah, I agree. I mean, the defense is going to be a struggle, and I mean, Belichick often goes into the season with a lot of question marks, and we'll see if he can fit together the right puzzle pieces this time. But as far as Brady goes, this is a gambling podcast, so I'll throw this out there. If the over/under for Brady's suspension, if the games he's suspended for is 1.5, where do you guys stand on what the final suspension turns out to be?
Wait, if the suspension is 1.5?
Let's say over/under 1.5 games suspended for Tom Brady.
Right.
What do I bet? More games than that or less?
Yeah.
I think it's going to end up at?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to take the over on that.
Yeah, I think I'm taking the over. I could see like maybe it'll go down to 2, but I think more likely than not it's above 1.5.
Okay. So what about 2.5? Is it?
Yeah, I'm taking the under on 2.5.
Yeah. Ooh.
I guess I
that's
should have
tough.
started there since it's a 4-game suspension, but
Yeah, I feel like 2. I feel like it's likely to end up at 2. So
You're just speaking because of what is just and what is right. You're like, oh, 1.5. Come on, it's got to be
yeah, exactly.
over under.
Or maybe I'm letting my Patriots colors shine through a little too much. I'm wishful thinking here. I'm hoping you'll both say, "Oh, definitely under," and then I can go home, happy.
Well, I guess
But
the question too is how many wins per game does Brady add over Garoppolo?
yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you're talking about a guy who really hasn't proven anything yet, Garoppolo, and we haven't really seen the Patriots without Brady in a long time. So it's definitely there's a large gap between what we could guess and what the actual number is, But
Yeah.
I mean, I would say it's got to be worth at least a touchdown a game, right?
At least.
Hmm.
Like, at least.
Yeah, I would have said right around a touchdown.
I mean, your time of possession and all these things, like, we don't know we have nothing, we have no idea what Garoppolo can do. Our running
Yeah,
game
that's
is
the thing. There's no reference with him really. He played one game last year in Week 17.
Right. Not the greatest, but it was okay. He held his own. So the Vegas has the Patriots at 10.5 wins, with the under being -130. So they're 10.5.
Oh, wow, okay.
Trying to convince people to take the under, but
Yeah, that's right about where I think it probably should be. I don't know.
No,
Yeah,
I actually think that's too low.
well, it's been a while since the Patriots had under 10 wins. But
yeah.
2002?
09, I think they had 10 wins.
yeah,
Under
09 they went 10-6. Yeah. So, I mean, but it's as a Patriots fan, I can tell you, this is probably the most scared I've been of our division in a while. Also, so and with throwing the suspension for Brady, and the people we lost in the offseason, Vince Wilfork too. I don't know if we brought that up. That's a huge one. We'll see.
Yeah, I think if it was last year's division, I probably would still say 11. But given the improvements of those other 3 teams, I'm leaning more toward 10.
Yeah, I think too. Generally speaking, in like the NFL, you hear pundits talk about like offseason acquisitions. I don't know. I'm not sure that like before you see a team on the field, if you can really measure the impact that a certain player is going to have. It was like Revis going to Tampa Bay. It's like as big of a deal as it sounds, unless it's a quarterback. I guess it's always so hard to measure how the impact of a player translates from one scheme to the next.
Yeah, football is such a scheme. I mean, it's just there's 22 guys on the field. You never know how a guy's going to fit into a certain system.
So much entanglement. Yeah, absolutely.
But I think
like Julius Thomas on the Jaguars. Like, why? Why are you doing that?
Right.
You don't know how that's gonna work.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that too can be a way to exploit in the betting lines too. Is that I feel like generally the public, because you can only have a certain amount of things to talk about, the public and the media tends to focus in on certain big name free agents. And for me, it's like I want to see how it plays on the field first before I start moving lines for non-quarterback players, basically.
Yeah, well, it's not like baseball where you just add a player and you're instantly better. You know exactly the numbers you're getting, the increase in home runs and hits that you're like. You add Pablo Sandoval, you're gonna be better at third base. It's just automatic.
And I think this feeds to my hate for the McCoy move, because it's just hype. It's fantasy. It's a running back. It gets people moving. It moves the needle for a lot of people, and I don't think it should. It's just a position that doesn't matter as much anymore, and we don't. There's a cloud of uncertainty how that's going to work out. How many times have we seen running backs go to other teams and just do nothing? So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. But so Vegas definitely sees a huge improvement in the East this year. They have them going 35-29. And so if you take out the division games, that has them going 29-23 against non-division teams. So definitely a market improvement from how Vegas saw the AFC East generally at the beginning of last year and before.
Yeah, and just talking about the McCoy move again, I feel like I mean, who knows exactly what the Bills were thinking, but I feel like the logic was probably Rex Ryan saying, okay, we don't have a quarterback. We need to run the football. Therefore, we need to trade for McCoy. And I feel like that's not that's not logic that plays out in reality. It's like, yeah, you need to run the ball, but that doesn't necessarily mean let's go get one of the top 5 running backs in the league and we'll be okay.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know if that what that really did to the line, but I have to think that it did something.
Yeah, it probably inflated the line more than it should have. It might help them, but probably not as much as.
I like exploiting people who are fantasy nuts that think these are the best players in the league. I love doing that.
Yeah, I mean it definitely can give you an advantage in the handicapping and the betting too. So.
Yep.
Yeah. So the AFC East plays the NFC East in inter-conference play. Did I get that right? Inter-conference play. And so we will be covering the NFC East next week. Any other thoughts on the AFC East? Anything we want to throw in?
Well, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's gonna be interesting. A lot of it obviously depends on the Brady suspension.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I still don't know totally if you're the Patriots who's the most threatening out of the 3. It could really be any of the 3, but. I don't know. I really like the Jets. I think they're going to be a lot better. I'm interested to see how they do.
Yeah, I just think it's just one of the strongest divisions in football, and it's going to be fun to watch all year. And I'm glad my team is actually in a good division for once, probably in a long time. I mean, they were good last year. They kind of all caught us off guard, but now we're ready for it. And the whole Brady thing just throws a whole other wrench in anything. So we could really see a lot of different things happen this year. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it'll definitely be fun.
I mean, if you just take away the quarterback position, those are 3 of the better rosters in the league, I would say, with Buffalo, New York, and Miami.
No question about it.
Yeah.
No question about it. And it speaks to how much the quarterback matters. And you got, the Bills are great. They're a great team without the quarterback.
And so a lot of betting in this division is just going to come down to how much value do you attribute to the quarterback position.
If he plays. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
We have a lot of isolated, quarterback win stats and things like that this year. We have Brady, Patriots without Brady, Patriots with Brady. We have a great roster without a quarterback. See how many games they can win.
Yeah, that'll give the people calling for Jimmy Garoppolo something of substance to talk about.
I just can't wait till Garoppolo goes 4-0 and then we sell him to somebody else, just like and get a bunch of picks.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Or you trade Brady.
We trade Brady. Yeah, doubtful.
Never.
That's no.
To the Jets.
That somebody was saying that should be the suspension. He should have to play for the Jets for 4 games. That's a far worse punishment.
Should trade him to the Jets and get Revis back, and then you have a Revis and Garoppolo.
I like it.
It'd be a fun experiment.
Yeah, it would. All right, that's all I have. That's it. So we're betting, Brian. I'm betting on the Dolphins. I got the over there. You and I have the over there. And we have the under on the Jets. Dave has the over on the Bills.
I don't think I'm touching the Bills.
I think I have the over on the Bills and the Jets. Those are the 2 that I think seemed good to me.
Okay.
The Bills more than the Jets, though.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see how that plays out, and we'll have to book those bets so that we can stand by our word on this podcast.
Yeah.
Next week is the NFC East. Follow us on Twitter at BlitzTheHouse. And that's all. See you later. Okay, that's it.
How long?
29 minutes and 43 seconds.
Concise.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, there's not much more to talk about. You don't want to, I gotta work on that intro. The intro at the very beginning was not good.
No, it's fine.
And we're definitely, I mean, it's all about reps. So, like, it's gonna suck for a while, but it'll be fine. I was saying to Dave, Brian, too, it's like about the